At the end of last week, one of Inman's daily emails, daily newsletters, the Agent Edge, focused on 21 ways agents get in legal trouble and how to avoid them. And the newsletter had 5 articles, informing agents about how to stay out of trouble. One of them really caught my eye, and it was actually published a few years ago. But nevertheless, it's still appropriate today. But let me just say before I share some of the items in this article, let me just say it's crazy what real estate agents have to do. I mean, they have to be great negotiators and marketers and therapists for their customers. And they're also expected to be legal experts navigating hundreds of ethical and regulatory and fair housing rules while trying to serve their clients with care. Really just trying to do the right thing, oftentimes to get you in trouble, with different legal jurisdictions and rules and everything. And it's crazy. It's like I was at a real estate event a few months ago, and the agents that went around and were saying the craziest things, that words they couldn't use in a listing. And the conversation went for like an hour. And I was just completely shocked by each word. Now, as simple as you can't use master bedroom, you can't say plantation shutters, you can't refer to size of the home for a family, like all these things you can't say. It's crazy today. And so I was reading this article, and I didn't realize when I was reading it that it was an older article, but I still thought that it was apropos. I'm going to show you the article real quick. You're going to see it here. This is the article. It is Protect Yourself, 16 Situations to Get Real Estate Agents in Trouble, right? I'm going to go through some of them. They're just literally crazy. I kind of like the little graphics here. How will this scenario get you in trouble? In this scenario one, it could be a lawsuit or a potential license revoked. And here it is. A potential home buyer is concerned about termites, and they ask, has this house ever incurred any termite damage? And the agent incorrectly or correctly says, no, it's never had damage, but they fail to say that there might be evidence of current termite infestation. So the answer was right, no, there hasn't been damage, but they failed to mention that there could be termites present, and so that's possible lawsuit or potential license revoked, right? Scenario two is, one we agree, we understand, agree, that the agent takes the earnest money and doesn't, get it into the escrow account in a timely fashion. We know about that. That's not a crazy one. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. But three, this is look at this. An agent the agent calls you regarding a property you've listed, which currently has an accepted offer with contingency. The agent wants to know the status on offers and contingencies, and you curtly reply, I'm not at liberty to discuss. Now that's a violation of your code of ethics, is what it says. So, agents kind of catty with one another. The agent's obligation is to tell the other agent the status of the property. Yes, we have an offer, and we have 2 backup offers. And then you should really encourage the agent to make a 3rd backup offer. Once again, I don't think that's a crazy one, as some of these other ones will be. Your clients are shopping for a home in a new city and want to know crime rates in different neighborhoods to help them make their home buying decisions. So you generate a crime report with a variety of crime statistics on every neighborhood in the city and provide them to your clients. That's a fair housing violation, and it's a code of ethics violation. So it's not crazy. You're a buyer's agent. Your clients live in a different town, and they go, hey, we'll pretend I'm the agent. Ron, I'm going to live in a safe area of town. Can you send me the crime statistics? I send you the crime statistics, and I just violated fair housing because it's steering. It could be steering away from a protected class, a protected neighborhood. It's a code of ethics. Is that crazy? I mean, honestly, my heart just goes out to real estate agents. I just feel bad that they have to thread the needle on all this stuff. Scenario 5, we're not going to go through all of them. It's just so interesting. The seller receives a buyer's love letter, in one offer of their home that hits them in a personal way. By the way, some states have made love letters, and that's when the buyer says, oh, I want to buy your house, I want to raise my children, all these things. They're tear-jerking, they're unbelievable, they're really good. I know when Blinn and I recently sold a house, we had like 11 love letters, the first day that was listed, and it was impossible for us to choose who to sell it to, so we had to rely on our agent, who's great, Christy Carr, you're awesome. Had to pick the person to sell it to because we simply didn't have the stomach to deal with it. Many states have made these illegal, but regardless of whether they're illegal on their face, if you decide to sell the house because of the contents of that letter, you could be violating all sorts of fair housing. You could have a lawsuit. It could be illegal, right? And so both the seller and listing agents could be sued because of fair housing and violations. So when and it goes on, when buyers give personal data and buyer love letters that might sway sellers, it opens the seller's liability in a fair housing lawsuit. And it goes on to people that have actually had to pay fines against this, because what happens is that you start to be able to pick one person over another, which apparently you're not supposed to be able to do when you sell your house. Scenario 6 is you notice a property pop up in the multi-listing service that checks off all the boxes for what your buyer wants in their home, but you also notice the listing agent works at a discount brokerage known for offering lower than the typical cooperating compensation for buyer's agents, and so you don't show them the house. Well, that's blatantly, that's so you got 3 strikes there. It's fair housing violation, a lawsuit, and it's illegal. The article displays why it's all illegal. But so you can keep going on. Another one, I'm not going to quit sharing because you guys get the idea. There's 16 of these, and most of them are just flipping nuts, including like you're a buyer's agent and you're under time because there's offers on this house that your buyers want, but your buyers are out of town. So the buyers go, hey, can you walk me through? Can you just do like a FaceTime, show me the house, do a video of the house when I'm on? Well, that's a violation because you don't have it's a violation of the seller's privacy. They didn't give you permission to do that. And it's on and on in this article. And I guess my whole point is, I just have a new regard for agents. They got such a tough business. It is so hard. I know sometimes the public kind of uses them as a punching bag, but boy, do they have a hard job. And the best of those agents are the best agents in the United States are the best, as good as any professional in any profession, type of thing. But if there is anybody buying a house, if you're a client of an agent, give them some grace. They're just trying to help you. Make good decisions. They're not trying to break any laws. And, if you're a real estate agent, and even a loan officer for that matter, you got to stay updated on fair housing laws, ethic codes, and legal risk management, so that you can operate without risk, so you can just totally serve your clients. And then if you're a leader of a real estate company or even in mortgage companies, you got to make sure you really are offering great training so to protect your people so they don't wander out into thin ice. But anyway, I'll put a link to the article below. I thought it was interesting. Even though it's a few years old, I still thought it was really interesting, especially after I had that conversation about what words you can't use, which is totally crazy. If you found this interesting, which hopefully you did, if you got any value out of it, check out my LinkedIn. I did a post on this today. I did some links to the post. I post articles like this. With that, hope you're having a great day. I look forward to talking to you again soon.